Hey, this is Misery Loves Company, a weekly reading series hosted by miserytourism.com. Every Friday, we welcome outsider and transgressive writers to come and share their work with us. And it's fucking Friday again, so let's get rolling. So first up tonight is Derek. Derek, are you comfortable going first? I know that you
I am comfortable.
Okay. You kind of got screwed by Adam because Adam signed up a week ago and and then he had something come up tonight. So you were the next on the list. So
I'm so honored that Derek will be opening for me tonight.
Josh. Oh, and Rudy, make sure you don't tweet this link out because this is
Okay.
Derek's time.
I've been working on one fiction piece all year. It's going to be a long it's going to be the next novel or whatever. And I told myself I was not ever going to read from it because I was like, I'm going to be secretive. I'm fucking Thomas Pynchon. I'm JD Salinger, with this shit. You can't even find me. But the truth is that these moments actually help me tremendously. They help me, anyone that's ever come to these knows that I read a lot of characters in completely non any order here, and they helped me find the voice and the tone and everything else. So I'm just going to fucking go for it and allow myself to be myself. So this is what I'm going to read tonight is the very first introduction, and then I'm going to quickly skip ahead to chapter 2. Although both those things are quite short, so I won't take up too much time of wartime author. February 2022. A war broke out in Europe last night. Wrong number, champ. This is Sam Shrimp calling, editor at The Atlantic. Do I have Shep? You got him for 2 minutes. I'm at my bath guy Saul's house. Went to grab a samurai sword from the bedroom he wants to show me. If he catches me on the phone, he'll kill me. He'll slice me up and feed me to Earl. Who's Earl? The Kinkajou, and he's fucking mean. We're down to 90 seconds. I read your story about Jeffrey Epstein's skincare routine, and I liked it. That's very fucking nice of you to say. I'm getting paid in affiliate links. So if you're looking to get the mud mask or the dental dam, order them through the article. I get a piece of the action. Next time you're in Reykjavik, look me up. I'll buy you a drink. You're in Iceland? Never been. What's this all about? You're wasting your time. What'd you call yourself again? Sam Shrimp, editor of The Atlantic. A war broke out in Europe last night. I want you to cover it for us. Chapter 2. I spritz polo on and smile again at Pussy Lips as I walk down to the beach for a stroll and a smoke of the local stuff. Pussy Lips has been hanging around my room all day. I named her that after glimpsing her tight micro thong from the front and the unmistakable swelling of a woman in serious need. She's pretending to talk on the phone with a Kyle on and off who's in New York for a thing. I'm pretending not to notice her, which is making everyone wet. I arch a smart brow towards Pussy Lips, but beneath shades, so there's no spills. They see me and they see a man that still knows how to make them come, might fuck around and make them crazy, and they love it because there's so goddamn few of us left. I'm floating through scenes and bodies out here. I'm fully myself when the war comes. I'm a wartime writer, an expat in the beautiful trenches, covered with your cum, contact high for the contract price. The sun and the war bring out the naughty bits in me, babe. I'm pure vehicle. I don't choose what speaks through me. Let's celebrate. You can hide out during a war in exotic colonized islands. You can be whatever you want during the war, except poor. The war has all my endorphins firing. My sex is showing. My pen is dipped in cum. Fuck, I'm awake. Feels good. I walk from the pool to the other pool to the beach to the room, letting every guest have a chance to see it. Several of them ask to touch it. I smile wanly. Someone else's hair is in my night cream. Basically, I lose it. Thank God for this war. Some of the pores are starting to get ideas. My God, the kiddies are underfed here, strays and guests alike. Even the curtains here are weeping. The glass-paned banister reflects rainbow prisons on the marble stairs. A young boy buffs them speckled white each morning. Underneath the droopy fronds, someone said something about a mistake or a milkshake. I asked the bellhop what they put in the ocean here to make it so blue, some kind of fluoride. An older couple, but not much, pulls up to the stools next to me at the swim-up bar at the infinity pool, and after some chit-chat about the weather and a failed Polish arms deal, they were German or pretending to be, offers me a significant sum of cash and American dollars to watch. There's nothing to watch, I smirk, even wink maybe, definitely demure. Your wife is very beautiful. the woman says in a thick accent. I assume she's seen Pussy Lips circling my room like a lioness in heat and has made certain calculated assumptions about the nature of our relationship. I don't correct her. I don't correct anything. Anything can become an advantage. I don't fuck my wife. That's gross. I laugh and give the gentleman a sideways glance. The conversation goes on and gets stupider, and finally we're in the room and there's a lot of cash and a little coke and a lot of weed, and the German wife is telling me to touch it, and the German husband has his mouth gaped. He's never seen a cock work and wiggle like this one, and my wife is downstairs somewhere pestering a concierge about a canceled aquatic aerobics class. There's rumblings by the pool, mostly in French, about some clouds coming in later this afternoon, and will the PA equipment withstand the rain? And I come in a champagne flute, and the German couple argue greedily over who sips the last drop. I haven't lived my own life in ages. I hardly remember. There's a tween room here at the resort where everyone sits around having sex and cutting themselves. Someone cleans up vomit on the hour. A fire alarm goes off. It costs $5 American to see a real Jamaican penis, 12 to touch it. There are spies in the gift shop buying fridge magnets for their daughters back home. The rum and cokes have been flat for 3 days. A sanctuary for monarch butterflies by the lazy river is not getting watered enough, someone yells through walkie-talkie static. Some sour pitted fruits keep falling off the trees, and 6 Canadians have had to visit the house medic for head injuries. Water is calmer this morning. The word thatch hangs over everything. I finally saw myself in the mirror on the 5th day. I was stuck in the elevator. 2 of the 3 elevator walls boxing me in were fully mirrored. It was like a fun house. I didn't look good, and I saw myself not looking good, and 2 of the 3 walls boxing me in, and I saw my reaction when I saw myself not looking good, and it wasn't good, and I was coming down from an awful lot of drugs, and the elevator wasn't stuck. I'd just forgotten to press the button. Thank fucking Christ. One of the groundsmen fucked up the setting and positioning of the sprit sprinkler, and it's too close to the nude area where I'm tanning, and my paperback is soaked. But I don't care because the story was going nowhere and was torturing us all along the way. But I still complain and get to watch the poor idiot get fired on the spot, score 6 drink tickets to a party happening later down at the beach that I won't be going to for my inconvenience. I move between hours like moods, and the lighting is particularly important to me. It affects all of my balance. Sometimes here it is too bright in the evening or too dim in the daylight, and I immediately seize up and submit to a panic attack. The medic has refused requests for more Xanax. I have successfully recruited heavily acne teenagers from the cutting room with nervous dispositions to keep me in my benzo cups in exchange for a few red stripes from my mini bar and 1 hurried lesson on how to eat pussy. And the medic can't say no to rich white kids. No one can. On the 2nd day, a member of the entertainment crew casually mentions I might not be tipping enough. And by the 4th day, I see him bussing tables at the fat Midwestern buffet on floor 3, surely the result of at least 3 comment boxes stuffed with ominous anonymous suggestions of pederasty. The moon over the sea tonight in the Caribbean, a war to fill our spirits and our bellies. I'm too big for this place and I'm too much for these people. Old people with pig noses. I chewed Klonopins like Tic Tacs on my climb to the top of the corporate ladder. I heard one fat, sweaty pig oink to no one in particular by the daiquiri machine. God, I hope he goes into Poland. If I had sons, I'd have them all conscripted. I might fuck fat bitches just to make sons, just to raise them to army the fuck up. The war could last the rest of the century with any luck. Fat bitches make the best sons and always have. History is the story of young boys rising against their fat bitch mothers and embracing greatness. Women who can't or won't get fat stay home and tend to gardens and make nothing of their lives or the lives of their scared faggot sons. To say nothing of their anorexic daughters, God help them all. My grandfather sold limes on the side during the Mexican-American War, which is just another way to say, I was born to do this. I was born this way.
Holy shit, Derek. Holy shit. So, as
Derek,
you know,
I really love that. That was incredible. Sorry.
Thank you.
No,
You up.
Sam, go on.
No, that was fucking awesome.
Thank you.
It's really funny. I can't say any more than that.
Thank you, Sam. So, Derek, as you know, I've been reading this finally. I'm on, I think, what am I on? I'm on page 3. I'm still on page 33.
I
But
believe I have asked you to not give me page numbers, but go ahead.
There may have been some discourse about that. I don't remember how it turned out ultimately, but Derek, so the reason I bring up characters though is this is so fucking different. This is like phenomenally different from characters, but it has that same clarity of voice. You instantly understand who this guy is, right? And you understand it in a way that isn't like simple, right? It's not like, oh yeah, he's that kind of an asshole, period. Okay. But in a way that like it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. And I think maybe an onion's the appropriate thing because it just gets more vile and more uncomfortable the more the layers are peeled back. But I love how you start with like this sense of real like extreme like Hunter S. Thompson kind of like machismo confidence, but then just throughout the course of that one chapter you see it falling apart. I love the scene in the elevator because then like you really get that hint of this is a guy who does not have like profound self-confidence at all, but in fact is as like this kind of incredible self-loathing. And of course it's very funny. It's paced really briskly. I'm tantalized, Derek. I'm stammering, but I'm tantalized, and I want to see where you're going with this.
Well, thank you very much. Definitely very weird to read. I repudiate everything that character said, of course, every aspect of it. And yeah, this, unlike characters, even promises to have a plot, I promise. So anyway, thank you guys again for letting me read.
Well,
Yeah, that
you have a couple of loathsome people pop up in characters, but often like the father in Pontoon Boat, right? Who I don't know, who's wonderful. And I don't say that just because that's the chapter we publish, but a lot of characters so far has been like this kind of like I don't know, like this like post-traumatic sort of reality where you're seeing all of these like it's almost a string of intrusive thoughts, right? And these memories just kind of like materialize. And it's a very dark novel, but it's a very kind of gentle novel too, in a lot of ways, right? In the way that memory is like both miserable and gentle. And this is so fucking different from that. And I'm excited. Sorry, Rudy, I'm talking over you, man. I'm sorry.
yeah, the setting, the ambiguous kind of setting, and how it flips between how in his mind he's going between like he mentions the Mexican American War, and then you mention like this other stuff. It reminds me of like that house in Killing Fields, the movie The Killing Fields, but like with different lighting, with like comedy lighting. That's the only way I could describe how my reaction is. I really like it, honestly. It's real good. It's like Will said, it's really well paced. It's got a lot of this character is so like it's so punchy, I guess, and so punchable. Just good shit.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Punchy, that's good. Punchy and punchable. Rudy, while you're unmuted, you're up next. Thank you, Derek.
Okay, so I'm gonna oh, okay, you got okay. I'm just gonna make the post real quick here. Yeah, this is gonna be from my Substack. The latest post for this week is about anger issues. Some of them mine, most of them mine. I guess this is technically auto fiction. I guess. So yeah, get it up on my phone here. Okay, so this one's called The Punch Hole Universe. Yeah, okay. So I'm 11. Parents' vocal patterns are elevated, stressed. I robot. In my room, I've got a huge cardboard box and a broken, expensive toy that came in it. You decide which of these I'm playing with. We report, says the fake newscaster I've drawn on the box's walls, that 9 people got killed in a fire this evening. Yikes. I shoot the TV with a finger gun. Bang, like Elvis. I erase the fake newscaster with my pencil, and it smudges his head all up. He's gender swapped Christine Chubbuck now. Bored with this, I stab my pencil through the side of the box and look through the hole. Through it is the punch hole universe, a place much bleaker than any earthly locale or situation. Today, I'm peering into a dank dungeon where a kid is getting disciplined, as I should have been. A little girl. I infer that she's a wizard's apprentice by her sparkly clothes. I infer that she's pissed the wizard off by the fact that she's spinning around in midair and being slammed against the wall, which is covered with fungus and her blood. The wizard's hand is the only part of them visible, their bony index finger moving to and fro like Merlin's did when he was making the books jump around in the sword and the stone. Except this wizard is using that finger to beat a child. Sweet. I'm 37. I might as well be 17 because everything past that is a blur and I'm a hopeless case, despite being a lucrative case study. I'm having trouble with my friends, having trouble communicating something on my mind, having trouble with a pike in Bottom Lane. I start to leave everything behind and go shower, but my brain says that showering is work. I don't work. 10-year gap in my employment, so you'd have to be a real dumb shit to hire me. You'd have to make a logical leap akin to Mao's Great Leap Forward to see a disabled retard like me and think, he can be productive. Thinking is the worst. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? My therapist asked me because she thinks she's helping. Infinitely useless question. If the USSR can't make a working 5-year plan, how the fuck can I? EMDR therapy says, go to your safe space. So I go to my room and punch a hole in the wall. The universe is broad, vast, deep. Through the fish-shaped looking glass, I can see a disheveled house much shabbier shape than the one I currently live in. This is a serious feat of uncivil engineering. All the walls in my bedroom look like the one opposite Kurt's last sad face. A man is lying on a mattress. 2 men with weird-looking guns are rifling through his drawers, the broken ones in the room and the torn ones straddling his butt cheeks. The fighting fun dichotomy from Full Metal Jacket is false. These guys are having fun with both rifles and the more dangerous implement. One of them pulls out his dick, his own or mattress man's. Choose your own ambiguous pronoun adventure. Oh, the tyranny of fun. This is a rape scene. One rapist unscrews the scope from his weapon. He sticks it up mattress man's ass slowly, while the bloodied waif mashes out a combo of writhing body language and animalistic screeches that would be punishing if God had the impartiality of a fighting game engine. I wish I could describe the rape more gratuitously in a way that would further alienate the reader, make my point even more distant, make my point, and waste even more words. Is this scope creep? I can see stars falling in the background, blue and pink. Ordnance, comets, magic missiles. They silhouette the ruins with their sick light, while Mattress Man takes it mortuary style. My 3rd grade teacher once asked me about a drawing I did for an imagination exercise. Is this really your dream house? A weird busted up crypt? I'm in a mid-40s tailspin, the kind that even Baloo von Bruenwald XIII couldn't pull out of. I pray for motivation, a half prayer that's fucking dumb, to a god that might as well be Artemis or Hera or Crom even, what used to call on him. Except I don't have Crom's maker's 380 Colt. Shit. I'm homeless living in my vehicle. Somebody say, because I don't give a shit about Kentucky or meeting my own inadequacies head on. Somebody sing, hello, hello, hello. I drive to a bridge where people go to die and cry to pictures of my dead dad. Border Patrol rolls up. Last time I seen a car parked here, he says, there is no one in it when I came to check it out. Ghost car. Can't let me drive home, he mentions. Little trip to the crisis center, he mentions. Damn. When the state troopers come, they handcuff me and put me in the back for transport. Just a policy. The 21-year-old kid says, trying to preempt my genetically encoded fear response to something that happened 400 years ago, something I can't even mention with a straight face. Lol. Master of Puppets is playing in the car as we ride to the mental health institution. Kidding me. Obey your... Post Arkham, I wind up squatting somewhere. An abandoned building. I kick, punch, divots in the drywall because it's all in the mind. Brain noise. Baloo in a Bermuda Triangle storm with no instrumentation. Baloo doesn't give a shit about IFR anyway. Baloo has to finesse the stick like he's Lil' Kim. Baloo doesn't have a plane with a functional cockpit. Baloo has just barely those bare necessities. Some light comes through the holes I make. When I get tired of breathing in asbestos and sheetrock dust, I heave, slump down, and settle in for some hole-based entertainment that isn't Courtney because my track phone has no data. As I stare through the gaps in the plaster, an eye gazes back at me. It's black and quasi-round. It's clearly inhuman, but I feel like saying that as a lifelong straggler who bathes once a month is the pot calling the kettle mulatto. The eye retreats backwards, becoming a noseless face, which becomes an expressionless head mounted on a tall, wiry body. A bunch of bodies like this stand erect in a field of blue long grasses, decked out in uniforms that belong on a watch list, FBI, eBay, or a West Side Gun album cover. Some bodies are saluting. This huge black tower is perched in the background of the scene, ominous and less still than something that large should be. Which album cover is this again? I pass out from exhaustion or overstimulation, you decide. When I wake up, another state trooper in their 20s is asking me to leave. I drive by the building in my beat up Yaris at least once a week in the months following my eviction. The structure goes from condemned to gentrified, some Jean Valjean shit, in the blink of an eye. A university extension school moves in. Graduate students fill its once dilapidated halls. I park by the building on a night when the sirens are going off somewhere that isn't nearby. I stand outside a window looking in. Two scholars are marveling over a cracked indentation where the door strikes the wall each time it's opened too harshly. Probably writing poetry about it. Scratch that. This is a school of physics. Probably writing equations about it. One says, and stares hard. The next few days, there are too many cars for me to park in the building's lot, which sucks because they're one of the only places that leaves me alone in the wintertime. The next few months, there are news people swarming the location, which sucks because the mainstream media is full of parasitic shitheads. The next few years, and now you know this is a fantasy story, since I'm somehow alive into my late 40s, are a stranger. Strangers everywhere. Fingers point to numbers and figures. Fingers point at roots and causes, placing blame. Fingers point at young men and say, no, you go. Fingers point at people and make them spin in midair like that girl a long time ago. Fingers give others the finger, lol, because who gives a shit about transgression when aliens or wizards or whatever are transgressing time and maybe space? Things are not great. I pass people on the street. I pass people on the street. I pass quote unquote people on the street. And that isn't meant as resigned disillusionment, but instead as, are these people or weird otherworldly monsters? At some point, I get on the internet inside a McDonald's. It looks like a Jerry Stephen Gammell drawing of a German beer hall. It's all earth sausage now. Mandatory all-day breakfast. A man with almond-shaped eyes and gray skin stirring up shit in the front. Something about the workers. I wish they would have shut down my Twitter after 30 days of disuse. On Bird's site, I'm told that holes punched in walls made the world pretty bad. Then a little worse. Then a lot worse. Bratwurst. That's it. And at the bottom there are the journey, the mid journey images that got spit out that I turned into the collage up top. So yeah, that's it.
Holy fuck, man. So fuck, man, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is obviously like, this is not the first piece that you've written that's about you, right? Like, obviously not, but this is like the closest thing to like quote unquote auto fiction that you've ever written. And I think it's awesome because I like that you've skirted around all of the usual fucking cliches of auto fiction, right? And you've kept it very much within like your voice, even though you're pulling back the curtain a little bit and there's less of the like, maybe there's less of the like, until the end, there's less of the like fantastical elements and other stuff that you usually use to like augment your pieces that are like emotional or whatever, that are like about expressing something about yourself. You're still doing it very much within a very unique style. This isn't like slice of life shit, right? Like, this is like boring deeper and deeper into your mind and deeper into your like soul on some level. And I love the way that you use the like hole in the wall, right? Because usually in your writing, you have these like metaphors that mean like 4 different things at once that appear in a discrete place in the writing, and then you move on. It's rare for you to take one and expand it out over the course of an entire fucking piece. And I think the choice to do that here was really wise, because it gets richer and richer. Because at first it really is just like, oh yeah, I got angry and I punched a hole in the fucking wall. But then it becomes like a fucking looking glass, and you're reminded, obviously, by the end, like, of the broken windows phenomenon, right? The social science thing, whether it's true or not, the social science theory that, like, you know, like, literally something as small as a car on the side of the road, and once again, you have the car on the side of the road elsewhere in the story with a broken window, could trigger like the decline of an entire neighborhood. And here, like, what is posited almost seems to be like that, like, somehow that act of like punching a hole in the wall of your childhood bedroom or something becomes this kind of global or even universal like broken windows phenomenon, where everything just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and like societal decay like spreads outward until the end, like it's unrecognizable, right? And it also becomes this weird kind of portal through which like fantasy, like dark fantasy, enters reality without it being in like a Del Toro kind of like bullshit way, right? Which I really like, without it like compromising the emotional reality of the story. So this is really fucking good, man.
Cool, thanks. The thing you said about the broken window theory.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I saw Josh's comment, and Josh saying, "We get it. It's not like my writing, William." And I will say, in the back of my mind, when I was saying that, I was like, "Holy shit! I hope I'm not insulting Josh." I'm sorry, Josh, and I'm sorry, Rudy. What were you going to say?
No, it actually came from something that got brought up, and I don't want to spoil. I'm not sure if I should even talk about this, but I don't want to, because I don't want to spoil the alleged podcast that might be going on or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was something you said about I think it was you. Yeah, it was you that said it, because you got the counter argument in this one, and it was basically, we're talking about fantasy and its power over people's minds or whatever. And you said something like, well, like, what if that's chipping away at something? And what if, dark fantasy, darker stuff is chipping away? And I know you said it is like kind of ridiculous because you were playing the opposition in that one.
Right.
But like that was kind of the inspiration for this piece, because it was like, oh, like, yeah, you could see like the idea of you punch a hole in the wall and then something bad spills out of it, something spills out of it. And the way just from me personally, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the way I've used like Melkrin and my settings and stuff that I've created, like I guess call it dark fantasy. I call it a comedy setting, but other people might call it dark fantasy or grim dark or whatever. But the way I've used those things in the past, and some of you have heard the stories, that I read of those settings, but like the way I've used that in the past has been kind of through this, as a vehicle for anger and stuff like that. And I think, what you brought up there, not necessarily a healthy vehicle all the time, but something. It's just how people, I just wanted to kind of reference that, how people use that. And I'm sorry I talked so long with that.
No, man, it's awesome. I always like to hear about people's work, and like, it's one thing for me to like draw, like make a whole bunch of assumptions and speak out my ass for 5 minutes after someone reads, and it's a lot more enlightening to actually hear someone talk about their work and what the inspiration is for it. So that's cool. Thank you, man. Jesse is next.
Okay, I wrote this a few days ago, and then I published on my Substack, which is kind of like, well, anyway. So I would like to read this just to see how it sounds read out loud as a kind of laboratory experiment, to see, to work on it, basically. So it's not quite done, but I'll volunteer. The guy is living and walking around with his head separated. It's on a table. The decapitated head looks bad, really bad. You have to massage it. That's your first day as a volunteer at the hospital. Someone put you up to this. You have to rub the decapitated head's temples and listen to it groan with pleasure. Or is it pain? You don't know. You're a volunteer physical therapist with living dead people, hanging out with them in the game room. They said at intake, a lot of people don't stick with this work. It's hard. It takes a special type of person to work with these patients. We really need to know you're serious about this job and in it for the long haul. Oh, I'm serious, you say. My mother worked with the dead, and I'm not easily put off by it. I understand these patients need help. I'm not squeamish. You show up for 1 week and never go back. You're a liar. You never intended to stick around. It's like the time you volunteered as a literacy fellow to work with that retarded guy who will never in his life know how to read. His name was Harry. You did it to take videos of his struggles and laugh. You were allowed to be alone in a room with him in a room. You brought Harry explicit erotic romance to try to read and made videos on your phone of him spitting out the words with no idea of what he was saying. Then you anonymously put those videos on the internet. You didn't even ask for money for it. It's volunteer work after all. No one wanted to do it, so they were eager to have you when you signed up. But the hospital for the dead is something else. You put down a fake name, a fake address, something they check on, but you figured out how to make it through the measures. You infiltrated the hospital's security, background checks, interviews. You laid it on thick. The guy's head from across the room looks mummified in Chinese or Mongolian. The face looks like the inside of a golf ball, all stretched, strappy fibers of tendons. The body moves around separated from it, and a nurse watches you in the room with it. You move towards it, and it watches you through ragged slits. There's a lot of people in here. Some of them might be dead. They're not zombies. They can have involved conversations with you, but it's like talking to serial killers behind bars. Your goal is to tape one of them talking about the afterlife. You're forbidden to ask them such questions, but if you can get alone with one of the dead, you can ask it. Ask it whatever you want. They'll answer. They keep offering, and the nurse silences them. You have to wash a burnt woman. She's all black, charcoal. She doesn't say anything, just lies on her back and stares up out of a crushed face like a stepped-on box of cereal. You have to sponge her melted breasts and flip her over and wash her crack. It's like every job as a volunteer is touching these dead people. This is the job no one wants. Holding their hands and helping them walk down a hall. A dead kid you put up on a balancing beam and catch him over and over because he falls off. You can feel his lifelessness in your hands from his armpits from catching him all day. He says he wants to go outside for a walk. You tell him that's not allowed. Dead people can't go outside the hospital doors. They're locked. That first week, you just go home to your house and get fucked up. It's hard to get that chill of death off of you. It's hard to forget those people. Over and over again, you just see the guy with his eyelids turned inside out and you take another drink. It's like how images are burnt into a TV screen if you look at them too long. Other volunteers are there at the hospital who are legitimately there to help. Who are they? A sad but pretty older woman, Janice. You end up having coffee with down the block from the hospital. She opens up fast. Janice tells a story of how when she was a kid and abandoned by her parents, there was someone who showed up to help her. I wouldn't be where I am today without Bob. Bob just passed away, so Janice is sad. You think about saying, let's go back to my place and just tear all our clothes off, Janice. But you don't. You get some pretty funny footage of dead people crying because they're dead. They all seem really sad and don't want to be there, but they're resigned. It's hard to get them to talk about why, and either they change the subject like they know they're not supposed to talk about it, or the nurse enters the room and everybody hushes up. One day you just don't go into work. You're a volunteer. You didn't give them your real number so they can't call you and ask you where you are. You're a volunteer. Volunteers don't step to attention when their non-boss snaps his fingers. You excuse yourself from it all. It's a generational thing. You imagine yourself telling them, if they ever caught up with you, I can't volunteer anywhere anymore. I have to make money. The guy from the website pays you $100 for each video of the weeping dead people. Only 2 are usable. Still, that's cash money. The website guy says he would have given you a couple thousand for the afterlife testimony. Maybe you can go back, figure out a way to make up a story. You're at a nightclub a couple nights after you get paid, spending her money when you see her, Janice, at the bar. What's she doing here? Think about avoiding her, but she sees you. She looks different. Hey, she says. It's not long until she tells you, you were right. I was right. About what? Leaving the hospital, she says over the noise of the club. I quit today. You gave me the courage. That's good. You're trying to decide if she looks good in this lighting. It was kind of a drag, you say. I don't think I'm cut out for that type of job. And there were no career advancement opportunities, Janice says. You calculate what kind of impression it would make if you went back to work at the hospital, how it would look to Janice if you mouthed off about the hospital and then went back there. But you don't care. You try to get her number, but it turns into a thing where you end up going back to her place. You just need a hit of sex. But you end up sitting with her on the couch, which is like a plush green fungus, and watching half of a stand-up comedy special. It's an unoriginal female comic talking about raunchy shit, and Janice laughs like an idiot, but you don't. It's desperate. Put your hand on Janice's knee and she doesn't do anything. She keeps looking at the screen and you can see the side of her face as she laughs at the stand-up comedy special, all wrinkly around the eyes. A silent, now I got you. It seems like she's not in as much of a hurry as you are, and that's off-putting. You want someone moving at the same speed as you, not Janice in her sad old lady apartment with her comedy specials. It feels like a trap. You make up some shit about needing to work tomorrow when you go home, fall asleep, wake up to a text from Janice. It says, can I come over? I'll bring Chinese. It was a while ago. Maybe she forgot. Resentfully, you tap in your address as a reply. Might as well just go along with it. It's hot in your room, so you turn on the fan and go back to sleep on the couch. Janice is a redhead. Will you ever be able to see past those wrinkles? This will be a 2-week thing at the most, then put her out by the curb with the other recyclables. Bottles, cans, cardboard. The dead man with the eyelids inside out is standing over you when you wake up on the couch. I came to tell you what comes after. You're not going to like it. Thought you weren't allowed out of the hospital unescorted, you feel your lips say 100 miles away. I have a night pass. Janice is lying on the floor with her head turned around on her neck to an impossible degree. The fan was in the window, now it's on the floor, not blowing on you anymore.
Jesse, I love this. I feel like sometimes I've talked about this before, but like sometimes there's a kind of weird sense of like a vibe running through a night of Misery Loves Company. And tonight I feel like after maybe a period of like not a slump exactly, but a period where I think anyway, I think that tonight is like a real night of creative reinvigoration and like real surprise because all three of the pieces that have been read tonight are totally not what you would expect from the author and in very good ways. And oh my God, Jesse, this piece is so good. This is like this is about damnation, right? But it's about like moral vacancy and damnation in a way that like isn't maybe preachy is the wrong word, but this is like it's a really like incredible portrait of like what being completely morally vacant, right, does to you. Where this character is really standing right in front of like absolutely miraculous shit, right? Like, and the question, even the question of the afterlife is only like meaningful to them as a paycheck, like as as an investment opportunity. Oh, and it's so good. I love the way that you handle the like supernatural elements here, the way that they're backgrounded and they're handled carefully and they're insinuated, and it's like the reader is like, whoa, what's going on there? And it never becomes like the wrong kind of genre fiction, right? It never becomes like where the like whiz bang supernatural stuff overtakes the human. Like this is so much a tight character study of this one completely despicable human being. And I just love how the supernatural elements work within that. I you said that you're still working on this piece a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it, and then thing about Substack is when you put stuff out there, it's like, is this done or is this, who am I showing this to? Why am I doing this?
Do you want a little bit of feedback?
Yeah.
Do you want a
yes,
suggestion? A
Yes,
small
and I'm open
suggestion.
to, that's part of why I'm reading it here, is because I'd like to know what worked, what didn't work.
I would change the ending a little bit. I think everything up until the last few sentences is fucking stellar. Is like makes me jealous that Misery Tourism is close stellar. I think the ending. I think I would have liked like a more subtle kind of damnation for the character, right? Like something a little bit more like something that achieves the same like emotional goal of this character kind of has this dark moral revelation too late, but without it being like into like like subtle like without it kind of teetering into like slasher territory, right? And that might just be my taste, but I think that like everything up to that point is so fucking strong that I wanted the ending to be just a little more gentle, maybe. Does that I don't know. I don't know that but that's just like my opinion, you know?
Yeah, sure.
I rather enjoyed the ending with the fan no longer blowing. I thought it was bluntly sexy and to the point, and like it was great. It was a beautiful ending. And it was like hot in like obvious ways. Like it was a piece of erotic fiction, I suppose.
You know,
Thank
Jesse,
you.
I'm seeing Colton in the chat saying he liked the ending too. So this may just be a taste thing. I wouldn't put too much stock in my thing, but in my opinion. But I do think like as a whole, it's fucking stellar. And I was really riveted by like, I don't know, just the atmosphere that you establish here. I don't know. Anyway, Jesse,
I
sorry.
think
Yeah, that
maybe just a little bit of insight or commentary from me. Like, I was trying to find a way to have this nightmare image appear after lulling the reader into another mindset, which somehow kind of accepted the idea of the living dead, which is such a trope of horror shit, and it's been done a million times and everything. And the whole thing of this person's like, anyway, I don't know. I wanted it to be like a shock at the end, even though we're not shocked by dead people appearing places because it's in every horror movie and story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that makes sense. And I do think that you succeeded at making like the living dead persuasive. Like you're saying, like I do, at no point in the story was I like, oh, this is a standard kind of zombie story. In fact, I didn't even think about zombie fiction, honestly. While you were reading it, I was thinking about the closest parallel I could think of was, have you seen the movie A Ghost Story? Oh, it's a fantastic fucking movie, and it's surface level, like it's like, oh, it's a ghost story, right? But it's this really like deep, gentle kind of existential movie that just happens to be about a dude who's a ghost and who's wearing a sheet the whole time. And the way that you use the supernatural stuff here, the zombie stuff here, to me was reminiscent of that, where it feels like it exists as part of this like existential tapestry to raise these kind of questions without answering them, and also like to reflect back on, like, once again, like the depravity of the narrator, the emptiness of the narrator. And but no, I mean, with what you're saying, I understand like that desire to have like things click into place in a shocking way at the end, and that might just be, you know,
I'm not sure that I did it, and I'm probably want to keep working on it, but this came out of a nightmare, and it was like kind of a transcription of a nightmare to a degree. And anyway, thank you for your input and your commentaries.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. It's really good.
I just wanted to say I kind of agree with Grapes and Mr. Gooch. I with the ending, like I first of all, it is like there's the sexual like kind of erotic element, sort of, I guess, undercurrent to it, I guess, that Grapes mentioned, but also like when the fan stops blowing on them, the way I saw it, and this is probably just personal shit or whatever, but I saw it as them realizing that they're in hell or that they're dead too. That's why all these dead people are walking around and they can talk to them and do whatever because they're in hell or they're dead or something too. But what I really like, a lot of the stuff going on here is really, really awesome. Like the social media stuff, and I talked about this on Twitter. But the thing where like the ogre, he's selling these videos to Ogrish or Live Leak or whatever. That was so good, and
I knew you would love that part, Rudy.
That was just such a fantastic hook for like to draw people into this, because that kind of anchors everything in like this reality of like yeah, people are really shitty. It's like, but it does it in a way that's not like preachy or not yeah, it's like, but the damnation thing that William mentioned too, yeah, that like I definitely see that here. And I can see when you mentioned that you transcribed it from a nightmare, that makes a lot of sense, especially the ending. I think makes a lot of sense in that context. That really sets it up because it feels like sudden. It does achieve that like immediacy, that suddenness of like, hey, like something weird just happened here. I'm not sure what it is. That definitely comes through.
Yeah, I thought like putting videos of dead people on the internet would piss them off. I don't know. Anyway,
probably would.
It'd be like another twist on like walking on sacred ground or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not very good at putting into words right now, but thank you everybody for your comments, and
no, thank you, Jesse.
thank you.
And once again, I wish that Misery Tourism was still up and running, because I would have poached this for Misery Tourism for sure. It has all of the elements.
You say that as if you couldn't just flip the switch on.
No, it's
like, oh, I wish I couldn't
my
just
control.
do this. If only there were some way.
I know, if only it was within my power to bring back Misery Tourism, but it just isn't. All right, thank you.
William belongs to the culture now. We're stealing him. We're stealing him.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jesse. Colton's up next.
All right. So let's see. I'm gonna copy the link in here. My piece is the Summer of Gooch. It's a piece I've been working on for months. I'm upset that Adam wasn't here because Adam the Johnson, because he is the creator of Summer of Gooch. He like spoke it into existence, and so it's basically, this is pinball erotica. It's when I got into pinball because a pinball bar moved like 7 minutes away from my house, and just like combine that with like sexual drug fueled escapades and like some fictional moments that I've heard from my friends. But is the link working?
Yes, it
Link
works
working.
perfect.
I think so.
And
Cool.
Adam
All right.
was supposed to be here tonight, but canceled at the last
Man.
minute to hang out with his kids, no less.
Lame, like understandable. Oh well. I hope that I'll send him the link. I mean, I'll send him the link. Anyways, so yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I'm super fucking nervous. I might be smoking throughout. Yeah, this is the Summer of Gooch. 1, 2, 3, or 4 players, 3 balls per play. 1 play, 1 quarter. 4 plays, $1. Points are scored as indicated. Spotting XXX starts lovemaking adventure mode. Spotting OOO unlocks man versus machine multi-ball. Spotting YYY lights surreal fuck mess spinner ramps. Matching last number in score to number that appears on back of glass after game is over awards 1 replay. Extra ball lanes score 1 extra ball when lit. Tilt disqualifies ball in play for amusement only. XXX. Our sweaty chests rip apart from one another and an outgassing fart claps into the open air. A smile carves itself across my sweaty face. Pillow girl, with her brown hair hiding her eyes and her period-stained purple satin panties stuffed into her mouth, can't stop queefing or laughing. As I pull myself out, Pillow girl takes the panties out of her mouth, lassos my dick, and pulls me back to the entrance of her vagina. She flicks her hair to the side and asks, "Where do you think you're going, Kimosabe?" I lock eyes with Pillow girl, fucking Las Vegas girl raised in New Jersey. She spits into her hand and coats the shaft of my dick, pulling me closer. I close my eyes and think about the Astroglide lube that I left on my bedside table at home. I should have brought it. I can see it right next to my dead grandmother's wedding ring. Anyways, Pillow girl digs her fingernails into my ass cheeks and I slide into her vagina. I grab her mouth with my right hand and thumb my way past her teeth. Pillow girl is still chuffed from our chest farts earlier. She chuckles during my strokes. Her laughter turned pompoir technique causes my knees to shake and my balls to rearrange themselves. As I insert more fingers into her mouth, I lean my head down near her face, slowly, so I can say weird shit directly into her ear. Do you call it the gooch or the taint? If you call it the grundle, I'm gonna burp in your face. She opens her eyes and is confused. "Oh, wow," she says with 4 of my fingers now in her mouth. I lift my head up and say, "I'm sorry, baby, what did you say?" After I pull my fingers out of her mouth, Pillow girl spits out the words, "Gooch, baby. I call it the gooch." From across the bar, I see my friend Bill picking out a Jimmy Nut wedgie while playing the new Godzilla Premium pinball machine, Stern 2021. Bill is a computer science professor at the local university in town. Every time I see him at the bar, he's wearing the same pair of blue track shorts and black noise-canceling headphones. Next to Bill is one of the owners of the bar, David, who's playing the Hot Doggin' Williams 1980 pinball machine. God damn, I love hot doggin', hot dog, hot dick in your mom, yeehaw! David is a veteran from Iraq, a father of 4, and a full-time radiologist. While David was deployed, a pinball machine was brought in and installed at base camp. And every month or so, a new machine would rotate in to replace the old one. Playing these pinball machines in his free time inspired an interest in restoring old machines as a side hobby once he came back home. Bill starts to talk about the pinball tournament coming up and asks me if I'm going to be there. "Oh yeah, I'll be there," I say. David interjects, "I guess I'll see you losers at the tournament too. There's honestly no better feeling than playing with your balls with a bunch of old dudes. Am I right?" Why? "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to poop from that hole?" A cricket's shadow cast beyond the stare of a woman suicidal. Failures of men surround her. A styrofoam cup with a pin-drawn frowny face on it seems to suggest half-emptiness, horniness, and needless anxiety. An inebriated car driver listens to the traffic light beep for blind pedestrians. In an apartment complex located near Gooch Park, which, by the way, Gooch Park is a real place in Memphis. That is not, but that is a real fucking place. Anyways, in an apartment complex located near Gooch Park, a boy is fixated on the shower head during his morning routine. The water funnels into the gaps of his teeth. Plaque is smacked into the back of his cum-filled throat. Nobody wants to die tonight. Everyone is just an insect staring at lights. I am a white suckerfish with a metal hook stabbed through its mouth. 2006. A 10-year-old boy living out east off Poplar and Mendenhall, sitting at the home computer playing flash games on albino black sheep and listening to Chased Through the Woods by a Rapist by Waking the Cadaver on his friend's MySpace page. XXX. Pillow Girl reaches into my pants while I'm thinking about the video of that one girl who sucked some of her own shit off some guy's cock. In my peripheral is a giant column in the corner of the room. It reaches up to the ceiling, some 30 feet up in the air. It's unnecessary, but it has my attention. Red string lights are wrapped around the base of the tall structure. Pillow Girl pulls my boxers all the way off and starts to play with the head of my penis. Her tongue slides over my dorsal veins. She collects her gag spit in a free hand and starts to play with my balls, and my eyes roll up. I'm half staring at the ceiling and half staring at the inside of my own skull. I don't feel my body anymore. When I thrust into her mouth, I am pure vibration. When I finally reach orgasm, I finally feel that my hope is no longer mute. Alterity is infinite, unmolested. Oh. How big was it? Bill has snot running down his nose while playing Fishtails, Williams, 1992. He's really invested in showing me how to correctly play this machine, but I'm too distracted by the loud flopping fish on top of the machine. Bill drains after collecting the multi-ball jackpot and asks me what I do outside of pinball. I tell him that I'm a writer. Bill's face changes a bit when I tell him this, but not enough to where he has to stop talking while playing. He gets into a serious stance, releases the ball into the playfield using the fishing reel plunge, and replies to my response. When I was an undergrad a long time ago, I was friends with this guy, Mark, and he was a writer that went to Rhodes. We were really good buddies. And one night, Mark was driving us down University and North Parkway. I forget what we were doing at the time, but we got hit by a drunk driver. Mark died instantly. I survived and stayed in the hospital for 6 to 7 weeks. I didn't drive around much after that, but I played a lot of pinball and Dungeons and Dragons. Mark used to be the best dungeon master. Bill drains his next 2 balls and collects his things. He decides it's time to go home so he can prepare his syllabus for the beginning of summer classes. Before he leaves, he turns and says, "Be careful getting home tonight. Hope to see you at the tournament tomorrow." Why? Hyperspeed fixation. Hurry up. Keep shatzing the in lane and don't fucking stop. LED-induced photopsia. Meryl Michelow? Sounds like Piccolo, I don't know. Kid pics. Albert Fish and Grace Budd. Soggy teddy bear nailed to a wooden light pole. Dysthesia. France Fanon. LexisNexis. Hachiro Arita. Gravito electromagnetism. Inevitable culture-bound syndrome. Healthcare advertisement. Rainbow cock NFT. Mirror neuron. Proteus. Underwater diving cum shot montage. Uppost. ELO hell. Ransomware. Gender performativity. Penis enlargement advertisement. Christie's Fraternity of Godparents. Ryan Trecarton. Carl Hochhofer. Esports crypto gambling. Toho Company Limited. Boobs. Thomas Sutherland. Silesian American Corporation. Captive ball kickout hole. Fong shading. Conditioned neuronal apocalypse. Mickelson-Morley experiment. Insurance advertisement. Francis Bacon. Shannon Street Massacre. Clown makeup masturbation JOI. Otto Dix. Pro Anna eating disorder Tumblr. Bash toy. Operation Midnight Climax. XXX. I used to enjoy coming inside of the people I was dating, but it got old fast. For me, coming doesn't really mean much once you feel like you have to do it. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome, and I love doing it when I can, but coming inside someone is a feeling you can start to chase if you're not careful. Years of masturbating while you're peaking on acid and snorting oxy also doesn't help with easy, natural, and on-command ejaculations. Addiction runs in the family. Some extended family members OD'd and died of heart problems in the early 2000s. Most of them were using pills of some kind, I think. Since it takes me longer to come nowadays, I have to rely on morning wood. This morning, Pillow Girl got up first and decided to wake me up by closing my nose shut until I started to gasp for air. As I'm catching my breath, she climbs on top of me, starts making some weird alien noises, and says, "Before you go play pinball, puny human, you must take me to your wiener." Oh. God damn it, not the amputee again. It's 100 degrees outside and it's humid as fuck, and that old lady with one leg is rolling around in her rusty wheelchair begging by the pinball parking lot again. I pull up in my car slowly and park under some trees. She hasn't noticed me yet. My credit card got stolen recently and I've had to use cash for everything. So I just know that she knows my wallet looks thicker than usual and she will not care that I didn't ask to be born. It's not really a big deal. She'll just ask me for money and make me feel like actual human shit while doing so. But the banks are closed and I actually need all these bills for the coin machine. God damn it. Once the amputee is distracted, I turn off my engine and just run inside the bar. I take a deep breath, gather some tokens from the coin machine, and walk over to the machines to practice. After practice, I go to pay the entry fee to Scott, the tournament organizer. Scott drives into Memphis from Jonesboro to do this tournament every week, and he'll even bring in flash drives to update the newer Stern machines. Scott also gave me some great advice by telling me that the worst thing you can do in a pinball tournament is have a dirty hole. When you're playing in a tournament, you have to put your tokens in the machines when a new round starts. It's courtesy to the other players so that you're not keeping the other people waiting. So if you're outside smoking and you're away from the machine for too long, then your hole is considered dirty. And nobody likes a dirty hole. Always be sure to clean your hole on time by putting your tokens in early. Oh. The tournament starts and I'm playing on the skate ball, Bali 1980 machine with Richard and a few new guys from the Midtown area. Richard is a skinny, tall pinball veteran who loves Michelob Ultra. Richard owns a few machines himself and loves to compete, but his complaining is what makes him legendary. Just now during the tournament, Richard had the ball resting on his right flipper and called David over to look at the skate ball machine. David asked him what was wrong with it, and Richard turns and replies, "You rigged this machine against me. The ball keeps bouncing into the right out lane, and yeah, it's your fault I'm sucking balls at playing it right now." After he drains his second ball with a very low score, Richard turns to me and says, "No worries at all, my man. Playing pinball is a lot like being Neil Armstrong, Lance Armstrong. No matter what happens, all you need is one really good ball to win." Oh. I look around and see David talking to tournament regular Dan, who's wearing a 2002 Fishing Rodeo t-shirt, white Nike shoes, and blue jeans with his Maverick cigarettes in the back pocket. Dan and David worked at the same ICU back in the day. We all just finished our games, so before the next round starts, Dan decides he has to go smoke. So we walk outside with him and bump into Steve. Steve is a 67-year-old retiree. He always offers to smoke people out during tournaments and plays pinball like a stoned acrobat. Steve showed off his aerobic strength tonight by nearly kicking a child in the face while he was playing the Wizard Bali 1975 pinball machine. Sometimes his camo hat will jump off his head and land in the crowd when he plays. I asked him why he played like that, and all he said was, "I've been playing pinball for years, and I just want to win a tournament, and I'll do whatever it takes tonight." After Steve gives Dan a lighter and offers me a hit from his blunt, Dan tells us a story about the first hospital he worked at. "So it was maybe my second or third week at this hospital, and late one night, this young gentleman was wheeled in after he got T-boned by this drunk driver. I think the drunk driver came in later on. Both guys in the car accident competed in a billiards tournament earlier in the day, but the drunk driver had this pool cue in the passenger seat. So when the guys collided, the pool cue flew into the car of the guy who got hit, and it went straight through his pelvis. Son of a bitch is lucky it didn't pierce through his penis or balls." Oh. The tournament is almost over, and it looks like I'm going to finish tied for fifth, which isn't bad. I'm excited but anxious, so I decide to walk across the bar and talk to Keith, an ex-Navy engineer turned Tennessee International Flipper Pinball Association state tournament representative. Keith owns the Blackout Williams 1980 pinball machine that sits near the jukebox, and he drives out to these tournaments from out in Atoka every week. Most of the guys who show up to these tournaments are from Tipton County. Keith is wearing his Hold My Balls t-shirt under a pair of tight black suspenders while explaining the Paragon Volley 1979 machine to some newer players. I walk over slowly and listen in on his lecture. You have to pay attention while you play Paragon. There are two flippers on the right side that are next to each other, one on top of the other. Sometimes it looks like a giant flipper or a big old ding dong, you know. If you try to catch the ball on the lower flipper, the ball will actually roll backwards and you'll drain between the flippers. This is known as getting double bitch flipped or scissoring yourself. So be careful out there and don't scissor yourself, or I will make fun of you and call you a double bitch flipper for the rest of the night. Oh. Tanner, a young guy who works in lawn care servicing, ended up getting first place in the tournament. Tanner is the pride of the group, the investment kid who turned out to be a national threat. Richard taught Tanner the strategies for each machine. Keith and Bill practiced with Tanner during weekdays, and Steve taught Tanner how to really shake the machine and save the ball. During the finals, Tanner talked to me about his early days with pinball. I worked at that putt-putt golf and arcade place off Summer Avenue back when I was 16 years old. I loved the old gaming machines they had up there, still do. There was one in particular that was my favorite. It was an original Galaga and Pac-Man machine, and it was in the arcade before I started working there. One day, the screen stopped working and it was fried beyond repair, so I asked management if I could buy it, and they said they were going to chuck it, so I got it for free. I called my dad and told him what happened, and he pulled up with his truck a few minutes later. As I was fixing up the cabinet, I discovered a love for arcade machines. Before I got into lawn care, I was working for furniture stores and did some electrical work on the side as well. Soon after that, I was driving out to Millington to play pinball with Bill and Steve and the other guys. It's crazy. David has so many machines, and he used to make me play every machine every time I came over so I would get better. First machine I bought was a Metallica Pro Stern 2013 pinball machine, because Metallica is my favorite band. I even got a Terminator 2 Judgment Day Williams 1991 pinball machine, but I really want to get a Dracula Williams 1993 machine. I play on my machines as much as I can. Practicing alley passes and slap saves is the key to winning tournaments. And, you know, a lot of people still think that pinball is like gambling, but pinball isn't all luck. Once you get control of the ball, nothing, not even gravity, can stop you. XOY. This person at the pinball bar believes they're an alien and that they have to go to a tree outside and bury different minerals in the ground next to the roots. He's charging his headphones so we can receive a signal later tonight. This guy seems like a bad sign. After the tournament, I start walking to my car and hear some rusty wheels rolling towards me. I turn around and see her, the homeless lady. She asks me for some cash, and I don't have anything except for pinball tokens. So I give her the tokens and leave before she notices. Text from Melina. I can't wait to see you tonight. Make sure you bring your lube. We keep telling each other that we shouldn't do this, but now I can only think about Melina. She should be coming over to my place soon. I think we're going to practice choking each other again. Melina sends over another text. It's a selfie of her sticking her ass out in front of a bathroom sink filled with her friend's orange vomit. Elementary school, after school care. My friends were drawing tiny stick figures with huge cartoon dicks. Figures were sucking each other off and their body parts were labeled with arrows pointing to their butts and balls. While they were drawing each other, licking butts and kissing balls, one of the after-school care counselors saw this and took both my friends to the principal's office. While the counselor was gone, the special kid pulled his pants down and whipped out his thang in front of everyone. Infancy is unconscious psychoalchemy. Childhood is engineered value creation. Puberty is performance anxiety. And once you become an adult and your body starts to decay, well, that's when the degenerative new party starts, baby. OXY. Hold on, I'm gonna do this. Bill is hooked on the feeling of ripping through the spinner lanes on Grand Prix, Williams, 1976. He's worried about his friends. He's desperate for distraction, just like me. My semen slowly leaks out of Melina as she catches her breath next to me. Melina is a coworker of mine at this bar I work for, and she's currently wearing my heart pattern boxers. After I lose the rock, paper, scissors battle to decide who pees first, I sit on the bed and start to clean up my mess with a shaggy gray towel. I hear my phone buzzing, but I ignore it and listen to the sound of Melina frying chicken in the bathroom. My phone continues blowing up with messages and calls from Pillow Girl. She saw a car accident on the highway driving home. She witnessed the collision happen and got out of her car to help. She tried to get a baby out of the car, but it wasn't breathing. It died on impact. She sends more texts saying maybe it wasn't a baby. Maybe it was like a little kid. But the way he was smushed under the flipped inverted car, she thought differently. She saw a pacifier stuck in the brain matter. His neck was caved in, his chin digging into his shoulder blade, his foot crushed into his temple. His ribs looked like broken piano keys. The mess looked like a baby, like a clump of a person. Pillow Girl's texts and calls continue to go unnoticed while I stare at Melina. She's pink and nail feeding me Coke bumps while I sit in my black office chair staring at her infected pierced nipple. Her blow-dusted finger penetrates my mouth after both of my nostrils are full. She grabs her purse and unlatches the anchor chain shoulder strap and chokes me with it. When she's done, she comes over to me, takes off the boxers, sits on her knees, and puts her head on my thigh. I dwell in the catacombs of cerebral titration. There, I tailor mind matter into nothingness, offering my soul in exchange for euphoria. Death to we who man machines. Your love is an armored, high-mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle. A baby in a pink stroller is being pushed over a cracking concrete sidewalk next to an oil-stained fence. A storm is coming soon. The world is a gas station cigarette, and all I want is firearm safety. OYO. Pinball machines used to be called tables, but David tells me you eat on tables. You don't eat on pinball machines. They're machines made to be played with and enjoyed. Pinball machines were meant to be used. They were made to take a lot of punishment. Flippers wear down, rubbers can snap and break during games, and lights can go out. But all of this can be fixed. Pleasure-seeking, horny gooner beast, crazy noodle, hot and heavy dog. Nothing else matters but feeling good. Be grateful for huge veiny dicks. Porn mommy wants you to come for her. Pleasure is throat fucking in reverse cowgirl. Cut up some ice and snort it off my scrotal raft might be raft. So it's like the under your dick and balls, you have that one line, you know, that's what it is. You want nothing else. Dance with online fucking agents. Your safe space is in a pile of drool. Nobody is going to judge you. Watch the strippers play with Legos and shove small pieces into their asshole. Baby, you have to stare at her bleeding asshole. Ask yourself if that MILF ripped her asshole during childbirth. Your body will be pumped full of purpose. Devote yourself to cunt. Let those squirting sluts step on your worthless cock, putrid faggot. Every machine is different. Each machine is a different project, so you never have consistency. You adapt to each machine and figure out how to shake it, how to grip it, how to move the ball in the machine quickly and carefully. The way to get better isn't mastering a machine. The key is adaptability to any machine. It's a natural and physical improvisation. Also, learning how to smack the shit out of the machine helps too. YOX. Text from dad. Hey, hope you're doing okay. Mom and I miss you. Apparently there's a gunman going around the city. I watched him shoot that guy in the AutoZone store. News reports are saying he's carjacking people and driving towards Arkansas now. Gee whiz, what a crazy summer, eh? Be careful out there. Love you. Gorgar speaks. You got beat. Me hurt. Tilting is almost always an accident, but oftentimes it can be a release of frustration. There's a fun brutality in the innocent demonstration of tilting, where men desperately try to save their balls, unable to separate fury from passion. Impulsive thoughts of slaughter. Strands of Melina's purple hair are woven into my fraying slip knot that I fasten tighter around her neck. She's face deep in my Tempur-Pedic pillow. I can feel her IUD scrape against my urethra. We're both praying in our heads that this will still feel good tomorrow. XXY. A house sold near me the other day. $500,000 fucking dollars. I'm praying my rent doesn't go up. The bastard who I used to bartend for sold the bar to some Jehovah's Witnesses, and now the company bank account is frozen. I'm out of a job and I'm not getting a paycheck, and I'm freaking the fuck out. Pillow girl, I can't get my head right. I need you to stay with me, please. You mindless fuck. Why don't you finally make your parents smile again and jump off a highway overpass? Actually, why don't you go run to your arcade and play pinball? I can't stop seeing that dead kid. You'd much rather romanticize suicide than be there for me. Go fuck yourself and your new whore, asshole. She dreams of violence now. She chains me to a kitchen floor. She takes a clump of steel wool and starts to scrape it against my stomach. The wiry filaments wrap around bits of skin and disfigured tissue. She tears into my lower intestines. She pours acetic acid directly onto my exposed organs while reciting the Book of Revelations. OXX. I lean over the pinball machine and I stare into the drain. I see demons watching me, like desperate voyeurs of pain. A few weeks go by. Virgo season is almost here. Pillow Girl is gone. I'm a ranked pinball player now, 32nd in the entire state of Tennessee. The kid who died was Steve's grandson, Brett Gooch. Melina is a social worker now. She's helping kids in foster care and troubled youth programs. I'm choking Melina now with my brown leather belt while she's fingering me. One of the kids in her program is being molested by her stepbrother. They're both 12 years old. She doesn't know what to do. Just stick it in me and don't ask questions. Also, if you want me to orgasm, you have to put the gun barrel further down my throat. YXO. The ghost of John E., the waving man, Martin Sr., sits on his lawn chair next to the Mendenhall Buddha statue, waves to me as I walk alongside Virgil, who is dressed up in a black leather dominatrix getup and has me leashed up like a dog. Far in the distance, beyond the opening of a smoldering cavern, the silhouette of Charles Fay lengthens towards my feet. Charles Fay is the guy, he created the slot machine. James first got cancer when he was 17. He beat it 3 more times. Now the doctors are telling him that at the age of 56, he has it again. This time, however, he needs to get his affairs in order. James is an engineer with all the money in the world, no kids or wife, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but it is. All he wants to do now is play pinball. James owns 5 machines and wants to sell them to Bill. He has Bill's favorite machine, Flash, Williams, 1979. Bill feels weird taking them. Why did he have to get cancer again? Did he really need to have it 4 more times, man? Fuck. XYO. I leave Melina's place at 4 a.m. after her usual, my dead ex-boyfriend who was a Crip gang member is still living inside my head and his abuse comes out as my schizophrenic thoughts telling me to hurt people and I can't stop throwing up episode. But before I get to my car, I see a VHS cassette tape, T120 on the grass nearby. It has the words XXX Sugar Walls written in blue ink on a white label sticking to the side. I pick it up and toss it in my trunk. Days later, I steal my parents' VHS player and try to see if the tape porno still works. After configuring the wiring and video inputs, Sugar Walls 17, 1999 starts to roll. When the tape first starts playing, I see a staticky, naked black woman with huge fake tits getting pounded by a warped, elongated dick on a motel couch. Check out this sweet ass. Fuck my tits. Charlie Angel gets it up the ass with her big old gaper. Adina Jewel is on her back wearing a Texas Longhorns jersey, and Santino Lee is on his knees tonguing her pussy. Mahogany is getting fucked with her legs behind her head, pretzel style. I take note of each cum shot. I watch how each girl winces when their tits are sucked on. An hour or so goes by. I rewind and fast forward the tape a few times. Sweaty bodies are thrown into a fast, timeless frenzy. I'm curious to see what all is on here. I think there was a preview for some piss stuff near the end of the video. Suddenly there's a halt, a screeching. I realize the magnetic strip is spinning out of the tape. I start hitting the VHS player and the footage suddenly stops. I think quickly and try to get the video going by rotating the VHS player, but the video feed is fucked. It's just jumbled interference with moaning poltergeists. Ejecting, ejaculating. Bonus, 1,336,900 points. Total score, 8,008,135 points. Grand champion, God. High score number 1, Jew. High score number 2, cum. High score number 3, ass. High score number 4, fag. Credits, 0 out of 1. That's it.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. This is phenomenal. You know, Goody used the right word in the chat, which is meticulous. I love how you've constructed this piece because your pieces are often kind of like these phantasmagoric collages of like different moments. And what you've done here is building on that style, but this is actually structured really, once again, to use the word meticulously, And I love the way you set it up at the beginning with the different, like the XXX, the YYY, the OOO, and then you deliver on it. You get us used to the pattern, and you get us used to the idea of compartmentalizing these different narratives that you're telling, right? Like the
Yeah.
pinball narrative, the erotic narrative, and the like, what the like, I don't know, nightmare collage hell
Yeah,
narrative,
it's like
right?
kind of
And
like
then just when we're like, okay, and we're following along and we're watching each chapter, we look at the beginning, oh, this is what it's going to be. You start mixing it up, and then all these compartmentalized strands come together in this really horrifying fucking way. That's just so good. That's so good. And then just when you think, okay, well, this is this has ceased to be a story about fucking pinball, then the high scar the high scar screen comes up at the end. It's so good. The construction of this is fucking incredible. Yeah, man, it's fucking great.
thank you. Yeah, when I first showed this piece to some writers in Memphis, and I didn't have the beginning explanation of like the XXXY, and they were like, we don't get each sections, because I did XXX because that's porn.
Yeah,
OOO is 3 balls, and then YYY was like, you're thinking like, oh, why, like thinking.
right,
But somebody recommended like, oh man, what if you did www, like a web address?
Oh
And
yeah.
I that's like I make a few more edits. That one is like right on the line. But I'm glad you said that, and it helped. And I really wanted there to be this important moment, when the guy wins the pinball tournament. Pinball's kind of over, but it still is mentioned. But he's like, if you have control of the ball, you're good. And then this, the main character is just fucking around with his balls and doesn't have control, and then that's when everything spirals. So even though it seems like he was spiraling, like, it was inevitable, and like I don't want people to like this character, but I just wanted the character to just have this interesting world that he just is a fuck up in.
Yeah, no, it's fucking fantastic. And the www thing is interesting because you do have a
Right.
couple of sections there that are very clearly like these kind of internet collages, right?
Right.
And I don't think you can replace the YYY with www, but you certainly could add www, and that might add a little bit of clarification to the 3 or so sections there that are very explicitly set in the like world of the internet, right? The like the like, I don't know the word to use, right? But the kind of like this kind of terrible internet stream of consciousness thing where these like, we've talked about this before with your work, where it's just like one horrific image after another within the realm of like cyberspace. The other thing, so I don't know. I mean, the only issue with adding the www thing would be then I think it'd be a little bit more inelegant when the strands come together, because you have three different types of narratives here, and you have 3 slots in your chapter headings, right? And if you had a 4th type of narrative without having a 4th slot, it's a little bit, I don't know. It might not quite. I think it's fine. I think it works the way it is with the 3 and then the 3 and the 3.
Yeah. I mean, just, 3 is a magic number, and so I just, yeah.
I just one last thing, and I think Rudy wants to talk about this too.
Okay.
But I really, taking out all the wild fucking shit for a second, so stripping that all out of the story, you have a really compelling story, like pinball narrative here with a lot of technical detail and a lot of like perfectly crafted dialogue that feels just like the way. I haven't done much pinball, but I've been around a lot of gamers, right? And it's just the way those people talk about those topics, right? And I love the way that every pinball machine has the manufacturer and the date next to it, like all that technical detail. Even if like all the other stuff was gone, even though I think the other stuff is fantastic and adds to it, you would have like a really compelling kind of fun little believable pinball like tournament narrative too, which is, I think, lends to the meticulousness of it, right? That the not only does the greater whole have this kind of weight to it, but any individual piece feels like it's carefully crafted.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's it. I think
Yeah,
Rudy I'm sorry, Rudy, I've been talking over you for like who knows how long.
The pinball narrative, it reminds me kind of, you ever see King of Kong, the Billy Mitchell thing with the
I
Donkey
almost
Kong?
brought that up.
Yeah, a
It's
little.
sort of-
Yeah, I've watched bits and pieces. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it kind of reminds me of that, like some of the side characters and some of the, like the way the guy is like fixing machines. He's got like 30 machines in his house and shit like that.
Dude, crazy. Yeah, he's got like everybody used to go to his house because he's like has done amazing in life. He also, you can look this up. His name is David Yop. He patented a light called the Yopsicle, and it's like this cheap LED light that's easy to like put in pinball machines, and he just collects a check now for this shit, and he's like sold it internationally. Yeah, so like dude's hot shit, and it's just crazy how this like micro patented celebrity guy is just like just runs a pinball bar and like fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
That's
But
awesome.
The thing William was telling about, the notation, I guess the it kind of reminds me of octal notation, like like file system permissions, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of remind me of that. Like if you were thinking of like redoing, I think it's fine as is. I enjoyed it and I thought it was good. It was solid. But if you were thinking of doing, maybe look at some of that like octal notation stuff, like like 755. Like you have like world, user, and other or whatever, and that sort of remind me of that, like how they fit together in a way that's like cohesive but explanatory too. Sort of. Yeah, but no, it's a really awesome story. There's a line in there, the tilting line, like holy shit, like that one. Tilting is almost an accident, but oftentimes can be a release of frustration.
That is a great fucking line.
Unable to separate fury from passion, like that's so good. Like I said in the chat, like it goes beyond pinball to other games where the word tilt has been used as other things. So no, really excellent story.
It's just so funny to watch like these like grown men, and like a little ball is just going down the drain, and they're like like they just like fucking. I mean, I've never seen them break a machine ever, but I've seen. I mean, just like you just hear just sliding metal and plastic. Like, oh, someone is very upset right now. It's very funny. It's like children, and you hear a loud bang out in the other room. You're like, all right, now I gotta go see what the fuck's up.
Like I've never really experienced pinball tilt, or like really even played. I played a little bit. Like my friend's dad had all these machines, kind of like that guy you were talking. He had like 10 or 15 machines in his house. We just go over there.
Was he also in a rack vet?
I don't know. He had a bunch of them. Like he would fix them and like
Oh, so he was just okay.
He's like a hobbyist.
They're like in a rack ward of like pinball.
Oh no! Yeah. No, he wasn't a rack vet. I don't think he would have been older than that. I guess, but no, it was. But anyway, like the tilt thing, like the physical manifestation of tilt, like it was so good. It was so like vivid and cool. There it was. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Colton. So, Michelle and Jody are up next.
Hey. Okay, so I'm reading 2 poems from A Lifetime of Lentils, my recent chapbook zine that I sold at 2 stores in Manhattan. And then I'm going to read like 6 other poems, 1 short story. Okay, so from A Lifetime of Lentils. Toxic air. The air is toxic, yet it is what I breathe. I survive on this. There's no clean air. Okay, and then my other poem from A Lifetime of Lentils is Want To. Break my boyfriend's Xbox. Okay, I'm gonna read the short story now. I'm just gonna have a little sound check. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yep, you sound good.
Okay. All right. So here we go. He smacked my ass with a lingering grip and said, "Come on, baby, let's go." We left the motel room where we'd spend the next 3 nights away from home. Turning the record player on, I lifted the lid and put an EP on. The music filled the room as he laid in bed with eyes half shut and the television on low in a dimly lit room. The night at the bar was a night at the bar. They had stayed for 2 drinks each and a game of pool which he photographed. He had his camera in one hand pointing at her as his other hand reached for her décolletage to place his index finger in the center of it. Pulling his finger down in between her breasts, he accentuated her blouse's neckline and gave way to the voluptuous boobs laying under the black fabric covering her body. He snapped a picture of her adulterous eyes staring into his viewfinder. Okay, and then I have some poems. Girl without a CPU. Waiting for the page to load as the screen is too bright, it is late. You've established myself as the young female online. Poem titled, Sometimes He Would Purr at Me. He presses against me as we are laying together. I'm celibate, but not banned from caressing his scalp. He doesn't purr at me now, but sometimes he would. Poem titled Game 01. Fuck Ryan Gosling. Marry Shia LaBeouf. Kill Danny DeVito. Poem titled She Told Me to Think It. Thought. The tattoos on her throat told me to think it, and I did. I connected the dots on her throat. Constellations appear with the draw of my pen's line. Stars and signs align on her throat, dot to dot connected by lines. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Those were fantastic as usual, Michelle. It's funny how like themes develop over the course of the night, and we've had a lot of like different takes on, I guess I'll say, intimacy, right, tonight. And man, that one fucking line from one of the poems, I'm celibate but not banned from caressing his scalp. Not only did I put that in the chat, but Rudy did too. That's just such a good fucking line. Like it's just like the perfect, gentle, romantic kind of line that immediately communicates. It communicates its meaning. And that the second poem, the like 2-line Xbox poem, that's hilarious. Like that, like you know so much about that situation. You communicate so much about that moment in time with just that one statement, right? And which is something I've said before that you're like exceptionally good at, is like these really concise poems that immediately communicate a huge amount of emotion to the reader or to the listener. And yeah, that was true of these pieces as usual. Just fantastic stuff, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm nervous. So should we start talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will
Jody, did you have a piece?
Well, I have 2 short, very short form like entries. Well, but anyway, so they will be by this author we were talking about earlier, Lisa Carver. Quick backstory. Her writing's really provocative. It's very confessional. It's filled with transgressive acts. It also has like a lot of it's valuable in a journalistic sense because that's the nature of a lot of her writing. And it's I don't know, it's like it reminds me of stuff like Hunter S. Thompson or even Malcolm X, because she's always like travel writing. There's a lot of like music journalism inside it. It's very feminist, and it's essential if you like stuff like Kathy Acker or Lydia Lunch. But this, what I'm going to be reading from is, it's pared down. It's like, it's diaristic, it's observational, and it's funny. And it's like she usually writes like these long form, dense essays. And this is like much lighter. It's called I Love Art. The cover is like a painting of paintings, like paintings in. Anyway, please let me know if it becomes difficult to hear me.
because I'm on my prescription oxycodone and I had like half a beer and I feel weird. I'm switching to Pepsi. It's
You
true to
sound
form.
perfectly clear to me.
So these are very short. This one's called Art I Love. First, everything I listed in the last category, then yellow muscle cars. Things that look like something else, but not on purpose, like airplane graveyards that look like computer grids or tally marks or a musical score. Any song on the radio about a song on the radio. Any song with whistling in it. Any song with the word power or slave in it. Even that Justin Bieber one with Will I Am. Every song that says I want you over and over. Any song that says sorry or please or begs. Pretty much any philosopher. I agree with them all in practical fashion. There's this ice dress that weighs 532 pounds. After half an hour of photo shoot, the model had to take it off and put it back in its freezer or it would disappear. Rude clothes. Yoko Ono's pants with a giant hand on the crotch. That one Italian designer whose male models were pantless and underwearless. Side boob. Those hideous mom jeans on guys. Clam digger length with plastic knees. Works in invisible mediums. The cracking sound of things breaking and blood and the feeling of having lost control, of having lost the agreements of civilization. Yeah, her work usually addresses like, marginalized voices and like the other. And I don't know, I like subscribe to a lot of that type of philosophy. It's like, if you care about punk, it's like punk philosophy. It's like, it's really important to read her. It's just the kind of stuff I use to feel like I'm exercising a type of freedom and it helps me feel free. But this is filled with like pop culture references. So this is called The Andy Griffith Show. It's very short. They're trying to replace Aunt Bee's terrible homemade pickles with store-bought ones so that her feelings won't be hurt when she makes them eat them in front of her. She's so proud of her pickles. Barney said, I can't face the future of 8 quarts of those pickles are in it. So they replaced her pickles, and the store-bought pickles were so good. Aunt Bee decided to enter them in the state fair. Then a widow came into the sheriff's station with her pickles, and she described how her dead husband loved her pickles. And he'd always say when he got to heaven, he reckoned there wouldn't be any better pickles there. Then she said she's won the pickle contest for 11 years. And when she's lonesome, she takes out her ribbons and looks at them, and she feels peace and that there's something in life she's best at. Andy realizes he can't let her pickles potentially get beat out by store-bought pickles. So he and Barney have to eat all 8 quarts of Aunt Bee's pickles. Now store-bought, but still. In the couple of days before the fair, so that she'll have to make another awful batch to enter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They're very short. Yeah, I mostly hope she hears about this because she is in recovery from ovarian cancer. She had a surgery very, very recently, and I just had open heart surgery, and I want her to hear about it and just be touched by it. So that's all. Thank you. Oh, and here's a little picture. This is a button she gifted me. It's her and her kitty cat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's it.
What was the name of that? What was the name of the book?
The book is called I Love Art. I bought it when she likes to do these improvised plays, and I was a detective in it, and she wrote, Jody, you are a stupendous detective. But, yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I've heard of her in the context of like, I think Gigi Allen or some of these other punk type things. Yeah. So exactly. But yeah, I know
she's from Dover. What's that? New Hampshire?
New Hampshire. Yep.
Yeah.
She's
a legend there.
Yeah, the suck dog thing. I know
exactly.
Yeah, from that. But no, that was pretty awesome. Like fucking little pieces. I like the rhythm and stuff of like how the pickle one was really good. But no, that's cool.
Yeah, the pickle one was phenomenal. I love that, like anything that like takes pop culture and then like elevates it into art, like takes like crass, simple, pop culture that we just dismiss, like the fucking Andy Griffith Show, right? And then restructures and repurposes it and turns it into something into something artistic. And the way like she zeroes in on like the pathos of that story, it's so good. It's so good. Unlike Rudy, I was totally unfamiliar with her or in her work before now, but I'm gonna look her up now. And
Absolutely, gotta read her zine Roller Derby, and if you like noise music, check out Suck Dog.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will look into it. Thank you so
That
much.
was
Jody.
awesome.
Hey, Jody, if I could just say one thing real quick. If it wasn't 4 a.m. in Paris, I would have seen if she wanted to hop on.
Oh,
Yeah, she's probably like not in the mood and half sick. But I think, William puts these up on YouTube, or Rudy does, somebody does. And I'll definitely have her check it out. It was really awesome to hear you read her stuff.
please do, please do. I'm such fans of both of you.
100%. I'll let her know.
All right, I'll be around for the party.
Thank you, Jody. And Jeff, I unless I forget, this should be going up Monday, and I always tweet it out on tweet the link out to the video on Twitter when I do. So it should be Monday afternoon. So if for some reason you don't see it and you need the link from me, just shoot me a DM, Jeff, and I'll make sure you get it, and then you can send it.
Are you
along.
using a different version of the word always?
The alternate always.
Yeah. This is mood dependent Monday through Wednesday, baby.
It's an alternate Monday though. That's the thing. Like Monday can be like anywhere from Wednesday to whenever. Monday, I don't
It's
know.
the rolling Monday. Yeah.
Rolling Monday, yeah.
Monday is whatever day you can actually be fucked to begin working.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much, Jeff. And Sam is up next. Ooh, Sam's still with us?
Hold up. I'm here. Hang on.
Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Very well. Sorry, I was thinking about Kathy Ecker and whatnot. Anyway, so this is a piece I was working on in February, and I deleted it and I rewrote it. It's called Depressions, or it's called True Depression. On April 3rd, 2019, Depression Simulator made its debut on the Steam store. It sold a total of 12 copies for that year, and the development studio, Firaxis Games, not Firaxis, i.e. the creators of Pirates, Civilization, and the like, dissolved at the start of the fall. Firaxis Games was made up of 3 classroom friends, Jonathan Lehrer, David Kaczynski, Mark David Chapman, who created it as a parody. David, we were at CB one night talking about simulator games. There are dedicated communities, games like Truck Simulator, where you just drive a big rig in real time across the US. All design decisions are for mechanical accuracy. And the graphics are almost redundant. All is secondary to the mechanics of the game itself. I'm not sure they even qualify as being games. They're job training. Jonathan. And there was that game, Goat Simulator, which was just a parody, but Mark. We thought it would be funny to make a legitimate depression simulator as a parody of both a game and a simulator. That you could, through playing it, learn how to have depression. In its first iteration, players would guide their avatar through minigame tasks, such as getting out of bed. Getting out of bed knowing that they have to brush their teeth. Getting out of bed knowing that they didn't brush their teeth the night before. Brushing their teeth without feelings of regret and shame. that they didn't brush their teeth the night before. Reason through feelings of guilt after feeling maybe just a little bit too proud of themselves for having brushed their teeth consistently for a few nights and days in a row. Maintain work productivity after cringing at memories of events that took place decades ago. Coming up with viable reasons that their friends might begin disliking them in the near future. Coming up with viable reasons that their friends might have started disliking them already. Coming up with viable reasons that their projected non-friends' projected dislike of them would be justified. Go for a walk. Not turning home from the walk early after walking by a nice looking couple and reflecting on their own level of happiness versus where the avatar imagines that couple's level of happiness to be and coming up short, and so on. Often, the games are recursive and can be solved quickly depending on the mood meter, which will be covered 2 paragraphs below. Though Depression Simulator showed promise, and its minigames are well designed, as a standalone product, it simply didn't hit. Until it did. With the launch of the expansion, Comorbid Anxiety Simulator, created during the COVID pandemic of 2020, the meta set in for the speedrunning community. This expansion added various new minigames in the vein of those previously listed, but the most important new features were the energy and isolation meters, which complemented the aforementioned mood meter. These meters offered players consistent feedback for which endings they were likely to acquire. The most important for speedrunners being the game over screen, where it is implied that the avatar committed suicide. There was also the long over, or LO, or low runners, who attempted to find a consistent way to ensure their avatar died of natural causes. The game over speedrun ending was achieved by increasing all 3 meters as high as possible because, at that stage, the life of the avatar was both entirely subject to their own private reasoning processes, as increased isolation randomizes the mood meter due to over-reflection and over-projection, and the avatar has a high enough energy level to commit to mood-guided actions. Success in the minigames affects the energy bar, but that's it. YouTuber Carl Jobst currently holds the fastest time, but he declined for interview. Regardless, it wasn't until the COVID pandemic hit that live Twitch streamers of Depression Simulator were popularized. There were 3 groups: fast pressioners, whose goal was to speedrun the game; full pressioners, whose goal was a 100% complete or a good ending. Though in Depression Simulator, it is impossible to achieve a percentage level above 85%. And the last and most important were the true pressioners, Twitch streamers who lived their lives alongside their avatar. That's the end. That's all I've got so far.
So I'm convinced, I've come to a conclusion about tonight's Misery Love Company. I believe it's a fucking conspiracy to convince Rudy and I to bring Misery Tourism back by showing us as many pieces as possible that we would want to publish on Misery Tourism. Sam, holy shit, man. I don't know if you're aware of this because I have talked about it before, but one of my like sick, like depression coping, like obsessions is to, is to watch those speedrun history videos where a guy with a really like Summoning Salt. I don't know if you're familiar with Summoning Salt, but where a really like soft-spoken guy just explains the history of speedrunning some video game or another. And Sam, you nailed the cadence of that perfectly. And every detail in this story is so incredible. Like this is like a pitch perfect satire of one of those videos.
I love speedrunning videos. Like I watch way too many of them. So.
I know you did your homework because I know who Carl Jobst is.
He rules. I like his fucking
He's
videos.
amazing. I love
They're
his
so
videos.
fun to watch.
Yeah. No, but this is pure misery tourism fodder right here. This is like exactly the kind of shit Rudy and I get down with, because you have like the dark satire element, you have the gaming element, you have the like perverse attention to detail about a hobby that like an extremely niche hobby, and it all comes together so like perfectly and so effortlessly. You need to finish this, Sam. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm having trouble with the ending, but like
have you
figuring
watched
out how
any
to.
of the Summoning Salt speedrun history videos?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll put the name in the chat. If you watch,
Send me a YouTube link on Twitter. So that,
okay, I'll do that after we're done here, because you've already kind of structured this like one of those videos a little bit. So maybe watching one of those videos will give you a sense of like how those kind of how they wrap up usually, right?
I just don't want to make it like a hopeless, mean ending
Yeah,
because
right.
it's
Right,
going
right.
there. But like I'd rather not do that.
Right. All right,
Yeah.
thank you, Sam. Oh, Rudy, sorry.
So did you mention that Mark David Chapman was on the development team? Did I hear that right? The guy who shot Lynn.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I heard that. That was, man, that story was wild. But the ending that you have there, well, where it ends now, like where with the guy, you know, where the player, you know, basically plays the game as a pervasive game alongside their real life. Like that is awesome, and you should further that concept, honestly, because the idea of playing depression simulator with depression, you know, kind of like I don't know, just kind of like as a thing you do alongside like your depression, like laying in bed, is just such a great image. I love it.
I feel like depression like actually kind of is like that. Like you're thinking of things, and then enacting them, and hopeless things, and then just behaving them because they're under your control. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, no,
like,
I think you
you
nailed
nailed it.
that. I also want to say I really love the idea of like speedrunners trying to get to the suicide kill screen as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I love that element of those simulators because I actually, I don't know, I can't identify as autistic yet because I didn't get the diagnosis, but it's become clear over the years certain behaviors. Pointing out my girlfriend, like I used to play games like simulators even if they weren't. I mean, this appealed to me about your story. Like I would do racing games, but I would just drive the nice car around the racetrack, like but not racing, just being like I am in a Porsche, and that would entertain me for hours, just driving a Porsche.
I do shit like that too, Josh. Still to this day.
There was a game in Canada called Cross Country Canada, and there's a Vice article about it. It's a truck driving across Canada game. It was on every Canadian computer, and you can look it up. It's crazy in the schools. I mean, in the schools, and it's considered educational because you would have to do runs, like, but you weren't really. You just choose like, oh, I'm going to drive, and we'd learn geography and whatnot. It's actually not a bad idea, but it was like along the way there were hazards, and one was like picking up hitchhikers. and they would like always rob you, but I would keep picking them up. And I think about that now later on in terms of like picking up women in my life and stuff and the way things, and I just kept, you know what I mean? It was, you could really, anyways, but it's not really about me. I like that element of the piece a lot, the simulator and those games, and they are kind of absurd. Like even Flight Simulator is so like meticulously constructed, but it's not like a fun game. It's like, this is like making it like flying
Stop
a
train.
Cessna. And I know friends that had parents who were obsessed with it and would just do like long flights from like one city to the other, like 5-hour flights. And most of the time they're just like at their computer, not doing much, but they just got the yoke and they're just like, all right. Anyways.
Who was it who wrote a piece about Flight Simulator? Was it Rudy or was it you? Or was it somebody else entirely? Maybe it was some, yeah.
It wasn't me. I remember the piece though.
I just read about Hot Wheels.
I don't,
Yeah.
oh well, whoever it was, I just remember a conversation about it before. Josh, you're actually going to be up next, but first, Adam, did you want to read tonight? Then I just saw your email pop up on my phone, and yeah, we can, if you want to read, you can go after Josh.
Yeah, sure. Mine's very short.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Josh, it's all yours then.
Sure. And here's the simulation, 2018 Toyota Hilux. Just, you know, what a reproduction.
I have a poem I forgot to read, but I'll go at the end.
You should,
No, Sam,
If I can.
you know what? You're still up if you want to read. Josh never minds when someone steals his spotlight.
No.
Sam, you can go and you can read your poem, and then Josh will go. And yeah.
Hang on, let me find it. Give me a second.
You can't do that
Well,
and then be like, let me find it.
I wanted feedback on this.
This is how all poems should begin.
It's not called Harpaxophilia. It's called autism, Adam. I'm not going to let anybody take that. Wait till I get my diagnosis, man. Now I'm representing the disabled community. Better believe it.
Do y'all have
It's
lawyers
called,
in Canada?
Now I read poems. I
Awesome.
don't read philosophy anymore. I swore off Plato and those pre-Socratics of yore, like Thales, Democritus, especially Epictetus, that enslaved Stoic, contemplating the shore. No, that is not something I do anymore. Yes, I quit it to win it a little while ago. Heidegger's aporias and Leibniz, mind gore. I decided not to read hard things anymore. No, I don't do too many things anymore. No, I'd rather talk about how I used to. I can sum Plato's Phaedrus, but who'd want to bother? We already know better, and often much more. Mount Everest of inference that I hope to climb, that all turned into dead ends and big wastes of time and effort. And all that I learned was that I'm a gullible mark and a bit of a bore. That's it.
Sam, that was like Dr. Seuss renouncing philosophy. I could almost in my mind see the like green eggs and ham style illustrations that would accompany that poem of like the guy like throwing Heigl out the window or whatever. That was great. Thank you, Sam.
All right, I'll keep that one.
You should make illustrations to accompany it. I think you should like present it almost like a children's book if you really wanted to do a whole lot of work.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to draw.
Hey, you don't even have to. Look, we've been doing misery tourism for how many years now, and neither Rudy nor I have figured out how to draw, and yet people like the illustrations, or so they say when we publish them. All right.
For the record, I love Dr. Seuss.
Right. Thank you, Sam. Josh is next. I was going to do a thing where I pretended that Adam was next and skipped. I just don't want to antagonize Josh anymore. You're next, Josh.
Yeah, well, I'm not that far into the 7% black fly crushed raspberry vodka coolers, but yeah, so I'm just gonna read from something I've read before, but I just wanted to read it because it came out in print this month in this anthology. I guess William has the link. Just it's a called the Lifespan series on Pure Slush. They're putting out, I don't know, they plan to put out about 12 or so of them, different periods of life. This one is the marriage themed one. I had submitted it for the love one without realizing there was a later marriage one. And of course, this one didn't mention the word love. So he said it was better for the marriage one because it mentioned the word marriage. That's why I don't know, I can't write for theme things, but I just happen to have it laying around. I've read it here before, but it's been a long time since I have. So just want to read it in print. So it's called Who's Gonna Heckle Us If We Get Married? One of the first things you told me was about how you were in Guildwood Park one time with some friends. You told me about it when we went there on our second date on January 12th, 2019. I want to set the scene right away. Wikipedia describes the park as a beautiful sculptural garden located along the Scarborough Bluffs. These kinds of places exist everywhere in some form, so I'll leave it at that. I'm more interested in what happened that one time you went to Guildwood Park. Some people were getting married there. They were getting married in a public space. Was the distillery district already booked? These things happen, you know. You have your dream wedding planned at a popular tourist destination, and then you end up in a suburban Scarborough Park. You mimic the bride's vows in your most bridely voice, and man, you made connubial vows sound so dumb. But sound carries. The sky is big out there by the lake, so she heard, and a friend had to tell you to stop. You hadn't realized that you might be overheard. Really, I don't think you considered the possibility. Suddenly, they were all looking at you, the wedding people, the bridesmaids, the ring bearer, the groom, especially the groom. And that's when you made your exit. You walked away as they stared. Then you stepped into a smart car. That's the best part. That's
Josh, that was awesome. I actually didn't remember that piece. I know you probably have read it here before, but it was still pretty fresh to me. That anthology series, I think Blick had a piece.
Yeah, he's
in
one
that
who
series
got,
too.
he's one who, he was actually, I think he might even be in this issue, if not the one, but I think he is in this issue actually. It was nice of him. He's the one who showed me it. And yeah, they've subsequently rejected multiple ones. And I actually think that what I sent last time was so problematic that they might not consider future ones, but that's another story.
Which one did you send that was so problematic, and for which issue?
Work. It was the work one, and it was Vyvanse and LaCroix and the Islamophobic, not the, anyways, I don't know if you remember that one with Big Bruiser Dope Boy and stuff, and it's,
yes.
Oh, okay, I remember that. Yeah.
There's nothing in it but it's just a different, people can read certain things of mine, and there are some nice poems in the collection. But anyways, it's unfortunate that I like that I have a print document of that, but it's unfortunate that the person I wrote it about is the person that they are, but that's okay.
Oh, Josh, you're so gracious. I'll have they put out a submission call for death yet? I'll have to try to get
That's going to be that. Do you know? I mean, maybe you're, but obviously there is one, and I think that's going to be like the last one though. And that's so long. I was worried this wasn't going to happen because it was accepted like 2 years ago almost, and I kept seeing the editions get pushed back. But they've been. This is number 6. They're on to 7, so it seems like there will be a death, but it's probably going to be in 2 years. But I'm sure you'll still be thinking about it. So.
Gotcha. I was just going to say that maybe I'll submit for death.
Yeah.
If I ever write anything again, which I probably won't. Anyway, Josh, that was awesome. And it was actually good to hear that piece again, because it was one that I didn't remember as clearly as some of your other pieces. So awesome.
It's one of the ones that's kind of like a story in the collection. I've realized the poems, and it should have been a novel, the book, but which is still happening. I don't know if I told you guys, but yeah, anyways, that's another story. He doesn't hate me, the publisher. It's just miscommunication.
Awesome. I figured that was probably the case, but that's cool. When is that happening? When's it coming out?
It was supposed to be late this year. It seems like well, next year, early, first half,
Gotcha.
Q1, Q2.
Gotcha.
Believe me, when there's a date, you'll know it'll be.
I figured. All right. Thank you, Josh. Adam is up next. Let me put the link in the chat. And then after Adam is Keith. And I swear to God, Keith is actually the last one for tonight. No, we're not doing the open mic thing. We're not gonna have 5 or 6 different people send me a DM at the last fucking.
Can Will, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey,
Can I just
John.
say something really quick? Hey, before Adam reads, I don't want to take too much of your time, but Josh, so I heard you wrote like a fuck story and everything, but and that's cool. But I actually wrote a story so like sick and twisted that when I sent it to Misery Tourism, they shut the website down. So I don't know how sick and twisted yours was. But...
We're actually publishing that story next week, I think, John.
Oh no. Well, you're about to see my sick and twisted mind, dudes. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Adam, it's all you.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to John's piece. Can you hear me okay? Is it clear? Okay.
We got a Zoom, Adam, by the way. Stop ditching.
I know I will take the blame on that, Josh, for real. It's my fault. But
Usually
yeah.
I'm the one, so it's nice to be able to call someone else up. That's it. Anyways.
This is called, is it in the chat? Or okay. It's called The Old Woman in Rags. Some stories may be told in very brief terms. There was once an old woman who made her way crabwise, raw-boned and belittled through the little lanes in the Pletzel, bowing with extreme humility to her fellow Parisians, those haughty specimens of the tricolor who, for their part, and despite the deference paid them by this miserable creature, spat upon her and called her naughty names, the while shaking their broom handles at the poor beggarly Semite. Her husband, a rug merchant, an heir to a number of beautiful and immaculate old scrolls, died of a floating kidney on the same day that an assassination attempt was made on Louis Philippe by the infernal machine. The king lived, 18 others died. The widow and her child, a waif in tatters with a small pincer-like claw for a left hand and one blind eye, were forced to dwell in the dankest of apartments, retreating into solitude in the old texts, such as they were. On August 29th, 18XX, the widow was murdered, and her son, then 13 and without means, was rendered to the home of a distant relative in the town of Worms, along with what little relics remained in the family, which was by then populated by his person singly and sadly. 179 years hence, an American woman of 33, beautifully complexed but given to melancholy, would commit suicide to a song by Dead Can Dance in an apartment in Philadelphia. This woman, being my neighbor, was no stranger to me. Indeed, she once looked at me in passing. I was not sad upon her death. I was eager. 1 week hence, upon the removal of the yellow tape from the door, I broke into the apartment and stole a whole drawer of her underwear and brassieres, along with her papers and effects. Among them was a kind of family history. This is how I learned of the old woman in rags. Her great something. Everything I just typed is true. That's it.
Adam, this is an awesome piece. And I don't think you were here when I said this earlier, but one thing that's been a kind of running theme of tonight is like people who excuse me, sorry, people who come here with regularity, like taking sudden dramatic stylistic detours. And I think this is another example of that, where this is not at all your usual style, but you've really nailed it here. And I love I love the arc of this piece, right? Because you really convince the reader that this, not only that this is like a period piece set in like the 17th century or whatever, but you convince the reader that it could have been written in the 17th century because of all the different little stylistic touches you have here that make it feel like the writing itself is of a different time, right? So the way the piece shifts like violently in a lot of ways and dramatically into the present without stylistically shifting into the present is really fucking spectacular because it's so jarring for the reader and it's so effective at like simultaneously having this kind of like moral continuity, like, or amoral continuity, I guess you could say. Like you feel like the connection between like the depravity and like callousness of this period like hundreds of years ago, right? And contemporary like depravity and callousness in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, these are two pieces that have been like forced together. Like the transition there is so natural and yet so jarring at the same time. It's a really fascinating piece. It's awesome, Adam, is what I'm struggling to say, I guess.
Thanks a lot, William. I don't think you were struggling. I really appreciate your kind comments on it. Thank you for letting me read it.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was gonna say it seems like what William said. It seems like kind of fusion of like the really old shit like Victor Hugo or something like that with like modern like noir almost like shit. Just like the way it hits at the end, like everything I just typed is true, really feels like a fusion of that, like this kind of like muckraking type of stuff, but with like a modern sensibility put on it. I really liked how that transitions.
Thanks so much, Rudy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Adam. And last up tonight, I think, yes, I had checked the list. Last up tonight is Keith.
Thanks, William. So this is a very short, simple story. It's titled Handbell Heaven. Mike was very old and very sick. His time was almost up. His wife had recently passed. The church asked for help. His handbell friend responded. A crock pot of chili was prepared. We drove to Mike's trailer. He lived alone on the edge of a forest. It was a beautiful setting. The chili had to be taken to his door. A screen door revealed that the front door was open. As she approached, she could hear moans of pleasure. Knocking on the screen door, she could see inside. Mike was sitting in a chair in front of a TV. It was an old tube type with a standalone VCR. The volume was turned up high. The setting seemed surreal. Mike was watching porn. Undeterred, Mike stood and walked slowly to the door. He graciously accepted the offering. After thanking her, he set the chili on a nearby table and ambled back to his chair. Through the screen door, she watched him sit down and continue watching TV. Mike died a few weeks later, alone. And years later, every time we make chili, we think of Mike. We never went back for the crock pot.
Keith, that was awesome. It's a really short piece, but as you have a knack for, it is so like emotionally rich and varied, because on one level, like this is a story you could tell like a few different ways, and you've managed to tell it all those different ways at once, right? Like this could be like a comic anecdote about like, remember the time we went to visit our neighbor and caught him watching porn, or it could be like the sad story about the friend who passed away alone and widowed after his wife was gone, and all of this. And you managed to tell both of those stories without compromising either of them. Like, this is a funny story. The awkwardness, like, of not only catching him in the act, but the fact that he takes the pot of chili, goes back inside, and then just sits down and goes back to it, right? Is just hilarious. But it's also really sad the way you use the word alone near the end, and the way it arrives after the punchline is like shocking, right? It's like you catch, like, it's like telling someone a joke and then saying, oh, by the way, my mother died last night. You know, there's this kind of wonderful, like, emotional whiplash in that. No, and it's just a really rich, concise piece. Thank you, Keith.
Oh, thanks,
Yes.
William. I appreciate it.
That was very vivid. I
Thanks,
liked it a
Sam.
lot for pretty much all the reasons William said.
Yeah, I like
Thank
it
you.
because it's vivid, and it's really, like William mentioned, like the emotional tones change a lot. But like the whiplash feels like less jarring. It's almost like there's airbags. Like Keith's prose and his like general like
That's a really good
prosody
point.
provides like airbags for that whiplash that really make it a comfortable ride, and that's something that all your pieces have, Keith. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's a
And
great fucking point, Rudy.
I think like shit like that is just part of growing up, like being a kid. Like you're gonna sometimes shit like that happens. That's why it was vivid to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit that you, like, can't process emotionally one way or another, right? That, like, later you have to go and decide whether that was a terrifying experience or the funniest thing that ever happened to you. Yeah, thank you, Sam, and thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry, Keith.
I just said thank you. Appreciate the comments. It was actually a true story from start to finish.
Do you like
It's easy to write
Keith,
truth.
It is.
Keith,
Or
have
is
you
it?
ever
No, it's
read
not. I mean, it isn't. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, because it's actually, in some ways, like, it can be really fucking challenging to write a true story in a way that communicates, like, the nuances of that reality, right?
Right.
But yeah, thank you, Keith.
Thanks.
And I think we're gonna call it there. I think we're done for the night. As usual, I'll leave the I'll leave the Zoom call open in case anyone in case people want to stick around and hang out or whatever. But I think that's it for the reading. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, this has been Misery Loves Company. We do this every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Anyone is welcome to come and share their work. Anyone is welcome to come and just hang out or lurk and listen. Yeah, that's it. We tweet out the link around that time from our Twitter account at Misery Tourism. And yeah, that's fucking it, guys. This has been an amazing night. And I know I say every night, this has been fucking great, but this has been like one of the greats. I just got a DM from someone. Well, actually, I just fucking got a DM from Adam. I have a 20,000 word story. Is there time? No, Adam.
Please,
I
I
was-
love it.
I was kidding.
I love when people do that
I was kidding.
every
I
time.
know, Adam. I know. But I also, prior to that, got a DM from someone saying that everyone really came out with great stuff tonight, and it's fucking true. This has been a really invigorating, like, amazing night of readings, and surprising, like, really fucking surprising, because I know everyone who read prior to tonight. I knew that everyone who was going to read was a good writer, but I didn't know that you were good at writing the kind of shit that you wrote tonight. So anyway, I'm rambling. That's it. Fuck it. We're done. Thank you, everyone.